Hi, this is Lauren from the Career Services Center, and today I just wanted to go over some of the basics of setting up your schedule for a virtual career fair with our Handshake platform. You should have, once your registration was approved, received this following email with instructions leading you to add a schedule and with our general message that would give you a link to Handshake, but also to their support center. Here's a variety of other articles and videos to help with some of the ins and outs even more in depth with the virtual career fair system. But I'm going to go through some of the initial basics on here in my fake employer account. So let me switch over to that account. Okay, once logged into your Handshake account, you'll be on your home page. I've used this a few times, so it won't give me any of the pop-ups that you might get reminding you to set up your career event. But if you've already been in, the easiest way to get to it is if it's not in your upcoming list, just go to Fairs, and then make sure you check on Show Registered Only. So I'm going to go to the Accounting, Finance, and Virtual Career Fair. Now from here, you'll see right there the button, Add Schedule. Now it'll have you start to set up the different sessions and ways that you could run the fair for the day. Click on Add Sessions to get started. And the very first thing is to plug in your team members. Any team members from your organization that are already in Handshake would be here for you to select. If there's not, you can add team members throughout this process. But first, start with getting those people in here. So reach out, ask them, have them set up the account if they haven't already, and they should show up as either having an active account, or if you type them in your form, they might show up as not having an account. Once we send out the invite, they will get a reminder to go in there. But the best bet is to try and get them to set up their account prior to going through these steps. So that's just me, so I'm going to check off to add the team. First part is, do you want to hold a group information session? Now, I would encourage you to, if you can, to host one or two of these sessions. These are kind of the equivalent of if you have a huge crowd around your table at an in-person career fair, and you kind of just want to first give, maybe 5 people the general run of the mill, and then maybe you and your colleagues give them then individualized question and answer afterwards. That's what I equate it to. So a brief virtual information session that you can use to give basic details. So if you want to host it, yes. We are really encouraging employers, if you can, to host it inside the Handshake platform. Given that we've broken down the fairs into smaller groups this year, there should not be a problem with the 50-person limit for the sessions. So just give it a title, and this can be just information session, or if you plan to host ones maybe for internships and a separate one for full-time, that's up to you. Give it a full description, talking about who will be talking, what positions you'll be talking about, the organization, things like that. Now, typically, you'll probably just have one person hosting the event, but if you have multiple available, it might be helpful to have 2 people so that one can run the event. You can, run any PowerPoint or discussion that you want, and maybe the other person could be prepared to answer questions, get materials prepared, things of that nature. Then you'll want to pick the time slot. So obviously, with these being 30-minute sessions, it'll give you for the 3 hours of the fair. I would encourage you to probably have one maybe in the earlier part and maybe later on in the day, but possibly not the very first session right out the gate. Just depends on what your availability is going to be for that day. But maybe I'll put down to 2:30. And if you want to add another one to host a second or third info session, you can just add additional sessions right there. Confirm sessions and confirm who out of your list, and since I just put me, it'll be there, and assign that team member for it. Now we'll want to add on the one-on-one sessions. These will be the 10-minute private one-on-one video meetings that you'll have with students who sign up in advance, or also on the day of the event. If the time hasn't passed through and you haven't blocked it out, a student could sign up for the session the day of, and it'll just repopulate in your schedule on your home page on the day of the event. But to add one-on-one session, first decide, do you want to put in qualifications? And this I would be very careful about, because this will restrict who will be able to access you in these appointments in there. So if you forget to check off one of the concentrations on the majors, or for example, you want to talk to people who already have a bachelor's degree and you forget to check off alumni, then those individuals won't be able to sign up. So I would just be careful with the preferences, but if you do choose to do it, a few notes would just be to probably avoid the graduation date range, because we typically don't populate that until students get close to commencement. So if you want graduating seniors, just check off seniors. Don't forget masters or MBA candidates, and again, alumni. Those will be ones for any of your graduated student positions. Interns, I would put a focus depending on the level, sophomore, junior, seniors, if you consider masters, so on and so forth. Majors, I would go by the major groups versus checking off the major groups. For this event would be pretty much the business fair, and just make sure that you're careful that you don't check off something you'd consider. So if you consider a student who's in a master's program in business administration and management who has an accounting concentration, you wouldn't want to forget that part. So just be careful with the checkboxes there. And of course, it will ask for work authorization information for you to plug in on there. It'll show down because I'm the only team member that is here for the sessions. Again, it would be allowing to assign on here. And if you forgot to do something, you can remove or just make an edit to that from there. Otherwise, you'll assign and then get a review page just to take a look to say, all right, I have an information session, I have a one-on-one schedule. Now let me confirm schedule and invite team. Now what this will do is, if there's those that you put on your list of attending recruiters that don't have accounts yet, and you check them off as somebody who will be hosting sessions, they'll get an email invite telling them that they need to confirm an account and that schedule before it'll be available for students to sign up for. Again, if you can have them register with Handshake to create their own employer account before you all do all this, that would be the best route if possible. But if not, that'll be the way that you can add any other individuals, especially if all of a sudden you have a second or third or fourth person available, then you can just add them in a little bit easier. To make adjustments to the schedule once it's already put together, if you're on the home page, for the event, you'll just go inside of details, you'll come back to schedule, and your sessions will be here. And you can do things like, for example, if you need a few minutes to prep for the information session, I would probably mark yourself as busy. And then nobody can sign up for that. But if things change, you can easily come right back and unmark that session, and it'll be open and available again for students. And let's say that registration happens in advance and you've got another event you've got to get to or something, you got to block off the last little bit of time. Again, you can do that right from there. So there you can make your adjustments on the schedule for that. And again, right from the general information page, just go to the schedule tab to make any adjustments. If you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to me at my email at ltroland@bridgew.edu or call the office at 508-531-1328. Thanks, and we look forward to seeing you virtually at the fair. Have a great day.